even from singers, even from male singers, you hear so many songs that men sing about how they messed up and they did something wrong. I can't think of a single pop song written by a woman about how like she wasn't good enough for the guy she was with. You get a lot of songs like that written by male pop stars.
Trying to think of one.
Yeah. Now, and you see this trope in film and television all the time. It's always the guy begging the girl to come back to him because he messed up, holding the stereo.
Right,
Oh yeah, John Cusack.
Yeah, in his trench coat while it rains. Baby, come back! And yeah, it's never the opposite. It's never the opposite.
Well, movies typically follow two tropes. One, it's the guy saving the girl, or two, it's the guy apologizing to the girl.
No, but here, you forgot the third one. The one that got away for women. Women love that shit.
Yeah, they
want to
be the one
Titanic. This woman's like 90. She had a whole family with another dude.
I know!
And
She's
still,
evil.
And she's still talking about her ex-lover she met for like a week or whatever.
Her one night stand.
No, this is a homeless guy.
I think it was 2 nights.
It was no, but this is very real, right? That Titanic is an unbelievably evil film, but there's something masterful about the way that the cinematography, the framing, and the music is used to make you sympathize with someone who's a genuinely bad person. Like, she doesn't have a character arc. She doesn't go from a bad person to a good person. She goes from like a selfish person to a person who's like a selfish person, but who's selfish in a different way. And when you look, I just want to mention one thing. What she does, I saw this movie years ago, so take this with a grain of salt. But what I remember is she cheats on her fiance and then has the homeless guy she's cheating on him with draw a picture of her naked wearing her engagement gift.
Yeah.
And then she puts it in his safe with like a snide remark right now. Like, that's psychopath behavior. That is not what a normal person does. That is insane. And people watch this and they're like, wow, her story's inspiring. She's a demon.
Wasn't she like talking to her granddaughter or something?
She was on the boat. And then, no. She was talking to treasure hunters who were looking for the diamond she had, which she throws off the boat. She's on a boat that costs millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands to rent. And they're asking her to tell this boring old lady story she only tells because they think she has a diamond. And she has it. And she throws it off the ship. She doesn't give it to the people who listen to her for hours. She doesn't sell it to take care of her granddaughter who spent her life caring for her and doesn't have a family of her own. She throws it off the ship because Jack needed it. He's dead. He died. He's at the bottom of the ocean.
And you know what's crazy? She was on the boat. She was on the safety boat, right? And she jumps off the safety boat back into the real boat. Jack would be alive if she just stayed in the original safety boat. That saves her later.
Exactly.
Yes. There would have been room on, and there was room on the door.
Dude, they don't tell you this part of the story, but I bet you Jack, when he saw she's still on the boat, was like, yeah, no, I can save both of us. I can save, but yes, fine. Just come.
But I think they've proven now that who's the guy who did the movie? What's his name?
James Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron. He did a thing where they got the two people to sit on the door and it worked, and they're like,
yeah, that was a weird.
You know what? Other movies like this too. The Notebook. I remember being a kid watching this movie and thinking like, she's cheating. She's cheating. Why is this okay?
Yeah.
And they romanticize cheating. But you know what I think it is? I think it's like
what's that one about? I don't know.
Oh, The Notebook. Basically, it's like, again, The One That Got Away, which is also a Katy Perry song, right? But basically, she dates this guy in high school and they're in love or whatever. And then they break up. I don't remember why, but she goes on to meet this really nice guy that like treated her well, all this stuff similar, to the Titanic. But she just couldn't get the old guy out of her head. And then she goes and cheats on him for like 3 days. And then he like runs in the rain and is like, I love you. And then she leaves her fiance for this guy she dated in high school.
She's an alpha widow, bro. I actually never saw it, but I had a podcast guest who was explaining the plot of it to me. I was like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
It's like a horrible story.
Well, the alpha widow is like, it's really common in music and movies.
Can we do like a sequel to every Hallmark movie ever, where it's like, so the woman who's got a fiance and he's like a snooty businessman, and then she goes back home to see her parents, and then there's the nerdy guy who's all grown up and suave, and he's like a carpenter now and he's ripped, and then he's very nice to her and she realized he was the one all along. Can we just have like a part 2 where it's like they had a one night stand and he was like, yo, I'm done. Like, I got things to do.
Yes.
I haven't seen you in 20 years. Later.
Produce it. I'll act.
No, this has
like,
to
wait,
be
what
done.
do you mean you're leaving me?
All right, every human being has a tendency to wonder, is the grass greener on the other side? And what Hollywood has done is built an entire sub-industry of telling women, yes, It is, actually. Go to the other side. Go check it out. No, it's going to be great. You're going to love your time over there. And then you end up divorced with a broken family or with a person who actually doesn't treat you very well. And this isn't addressed, and we just keep churning out media that's horribly irresponsible.
It should just be like the day after she gets the hometown hero guy and she leaves her snooty businessman fiance, he like wakes up and he's like, I think you should probably go. And she's like, what do you mean? I thought we were having something. He's like, no, I was just saying that so that you'd sleep with me. You can leave now.
But why would Hollywood producers want women to think the hardworking man who's loyal to them is bad for trying to stop weird strangers from sleeping with her? Why would Hollywood producers want women to have that in their head?
You keep saying Hollywood, but it's Hallmark.
Hollywood, Hallmark, all of it, though.
I think Hallmark's made in Canada.
Hallmark is like way over the line, but all of these Hollywood movies follow similar tropes. Like the man who meets all of society's standards for what a responsible man isn't good enough. We either depict him as being like, bad in some emotional way. There's always a catch. The good, hardworking man always has problems. And like the lovable loser always has a heart of gold and genuinely cares for you. It's like, sorry, no.
Well, and the other thing is like whenever they always try to like explain women's cheating. So like whenever you say, oh, she cheated, they always say, well, why did he cheat? What did he do? It's the same thing if she freaks out and is like hitting a guy. It's always like, what did he do? What did he do to deserve this? Like the default is he deserved this in some way. Where it's like if a man cheats, he's a dog, he's evil, he's just, whatever.
Yeah, but like here's the thing. Like now we're seeing all of these polyamorous relationships.
Gross.
Because cheating kind of only really applies to marriage. And what we've created now is this pseudo hybrid dating marriage thing. So here's how it used to be. It was a young woman would date several men. What does that really mean? It means they'd go out for a cheeseburger and a milkshake. And then if they were like, hey, we're really getting along and we have a lot in common, this is fun, they would decide to get married. Now dating is first you meet at a bar and then you bang at her place or his place. Then they decide, hey, maybe we should do this more often. So you've already like jumped the line into like living together and hooking up, but there's no actual commitment. So it's all just a mishmash.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is cheating? Well, cheating was like you were married. Marriage is a contract. The reason it's called cheat is because you have a commitment you are breaking. If you're just like randomly dating some floozy or something, like how is it cheating if you don't have anything formally set anyway and you could leave at any time?
Well, I would add one thing. I would say like if you are dating someone monogamously to discern marriage and they can't be monogamous through the courtship process, that does tell you something about them. It's like, all right, yeah, you're not the one for me.
Yeah, but I mean, from your standard, Seamus, they're like the person you're dating is not going around having sex with a bunch of dudes.
No,
anyway.
It's also true. Yes.
So there's not.
Or at least if she does, I don't know about it.
But what are you saying? Like, if you're
I would
going
never
out,
date a woman like that.
If you're dating a woman is like you're going out for dinner and you're going to the movies, and then one day you find out she went out to a movie with Ian.
And I would be like, first of all, that would never happen. All right, they're going to see What Is a Woman, and I'm like, apparently a liar and a cheater.
So would you?
I could tell Matt Walsh what a woman is.
If you were in a relationship with, or if you just met a girl that just rocked you, knocked you on your ass, awesome, but then you found out she did it with 100 other guys, would you still be like, whatever, I'm going for it?
That's a good question. So statistically speaking, we know that the more sexual partners a person has, the higher the probability that they will end up being divorced. So I would say there's kind of an imprudence in not considering a person's history. 100 is a very big number. I think like someone can make mistakes, genuinely repent, and then do the hard work to try to do the penance and fasting and prayer to straighten themselves out and become like a good, holy person who would be a worthy mother to one's children. But I mean, after 100, I think that's going to be pretty difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying that it's not something that shouldn't be considered. And I think there are a lot of people who want to argue that that shouldn't be considered, and it should.
Yeah, it's like, do you decide with your brain or with your heart?
Well, the thing you have to think about, and this isn't me speaking as a married man because I'm not married, but I was recently speaking to Jason Evert, who is and talks about these things, and I asked him a similar question.
Is it Jason? Is it Everett?
I think it's Everett, yeah.
Oh my God, he went to my high school.
Really?
He talked at your high school?
Yeah, he did. He did. He's selling women dreams. That man. Yeah.
Well, I like him, but we can get into it.
I do like him, but it's always the same trope with like the religious people. It's always like the ran through chick and like the guy that was a virgin that like marries her at the end. And she only really gets away with it typically because she's hot. So, which it's kind of,
I think that's a fair representation of his position.
I mean, mean, that's what happened. Like, he's a nice guy, but like,
that's what you're saying. Well, no, I think that's a horrible thing to say about him and his wife.
Well, no, I'm saying like that's what he said. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to make it a personal thing, but wait, can I finish?
Yeah,
So
of course.
basically, like that's what like the wife goes up first, and she talks about how she was like slept with all these people, and then the guy goes up and talks about how he didn't, and then the girl like gets married at the end. And yeah, it's always the same thing. Like, so the girl basically gets ran through and then the guy marries her after. And I'm like, it's kind of selling dreams. And like an attractive girl can get away with it, but like the average chick, it's like.
But I think there's an important contextual difference, which is that Jason and his wife aren't saying like, go do this and it'll be fine. What they're saying was like, this was a horribly damaging thing to do. She wished she had never done it. And she repented and got close to Christ and like did the work to undo her scars.
No, and if it's genuine, sure. But I just think like the issue, like why I think a lot of times church like attracts women that like that are a bit like, I mean, come on, like let's just be honest. Like there's a reason there's Catholic girls have a reputation. There's a reason church girls have a reputation.
Well, I think because most people who are supposedly raised in the faith aren't. They're told they're Catholic and they don't go to church. They don't.
Well, I think it's too because like the church kind of sells them dreams that you can do all this stuff and still have a guy waiting for you at the end. And like now, and the data just doesn't support it. It's like 50% of women are going to be single and childless.
I see what you're saying, Seamus. It very much sounds like the life of sin followed by a deathbed repentance attempt at Christianity. You know what I mean?
No, because there's a difference. There's like, and this is one of the distinctions you have to make. And part of why I brought up Jason Everett is because what he said to me when I asked him this question on air was the question you need to ask yourself is like, what could you tolerate 10 years from now in a relationship with this person? And that is going to be partially defined by that person's wounds, the things that they've done in their past. So a person having a very unfortunate sexual history doesn't just or even necessarily mean that they're going to cheat on you or be promiscuous. They could end up being monogamous and faithful, but they could still end up having all sorts of scars with respect to the way they view sex, with the way they view the opposite sex. They could become an angry, nasty person because of it. And you want to know that there's someone who has worked through it. There's no denying that it is better to be a virgin, right? But not everyone is, and God calls people to marry non-virgins as well.
Well, yeah, but I think my point is that it's like they just sort of sell, like I think sometimes the church sort of sells dreams to women because it's like you're kind of asking a guy, like to me something that's a bit unreasonable. Like why would he wait when you've slept with X amount of men like for free?
Well,
right?
I think I
never see the church like really calling out like, hey, do not marry women that aren't virgins. I've never heard like do not, like they're a red flag if she slept with this many people. I've never really heard that. And so it's interesting. Like I really don't.
No. Well, there's a couple different things to pull apart there. I mean, firstly, I've never heard anyone say don't marry a non-virgin, at least like at any church-sponsored talk.
How could they?
Yeah,
now?
like in this day and age, that's not so much a church thing as much as that is like, this is something people won't say. One thing we do believe in is repentance, and that a person can restore themselves with the help of Christ. God can restore people if you cooperate with him. But I would add one detail, which is that it doesn't say like men stay a virgin, women sleep around and then get married. It tells everyone to remain a virgin. And it will also tell women, by the way, that like the man you're with, he might have slept around. He might like have had struggles with a porn addiction or currently struggle with it.
The issue is
that's real.
The issue is though, like women have so much more like obviously power on the sexual market. Like there's so much more opportunity to do it from a young age, right? So you're going to have women that have slept around and men that are a bit naive and they don't know how to like if you have a guy that's a virgin and a woman that slept with, I don't know, like however many people, right? Like he's going to be naive and he won't really be able to pick up on like certain red flags, I think.
I think there's some truth in that.
And I think the church doesn't really talk about like the baggage. Like they don't really like talk about the baggage that comes with this stuff and like warning men about predatory women because there are predatory women.
I totally agree with you. Look, I totally agree with you that there are predatory women. I think it's a big statement to say the church doesn't warn people about this because I know plenty of Catholics who would say like, yeah, stay a virgin, try to marry a virgin. I also know others who would say it's important to be, yeah.
Okay, I'm Catholic.
Well, and I also know people who would say it's good to be equally yoked, right? Like, yeah, if you don't think you could handle that, if you're a virgin and this person has slept with a lot of people, that is something to consider in your discernment. It's not to say like you're evil because you don't want to marry someone who's not a virgin.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.